Jasodanandana Brajan Janaranjana Jasodanandana Brajan Janaranjana Jasodanandana Brajan Janaranjana Jamunatira Banachari Jamunatira Banachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Radha Sri Vasari Gaura Bhaktavinda Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadha Sri Vasari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Oh, Hare Rama. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada. Nitai Gaura Haribol, Nitai Gaura Haribol. Gaur Pramanandi, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 9th canto, 12th chapter, the whole chapter. So the verse that we have on the board, it's number 6, and it's the only one that has a purport of the whole chapter. This is a unique occasion. We're going to read the whole chapter. I don't know, for those who are expert in Bhagavatam, maybe this is the shortest chapter of the whole book. But in any case, we just follow orders. So we have to read the whole thing. Chapter 12, the dynasty of Kuśa, the son of Lord Rāmacandra. This chapter describes the dynasty of Kuśa, the son of Lord Rāmacandra. The members of this dynasty are descendants of Niṣadha, the son of Maharaj Iksvaku. Following in the genealogical table of Lord Rāmacandра's dynasty, Kuśa, the Lord's son, was followed consecutively by Atithi, Niṣadha, Nabha, Puṇḍarīka, Kṣemadhanvā, Devānīka, Anīha, Pāriyātra, Balasthala, Vajranābha, Sagaṇa, and Vidhṛti. These personalities ruled the world. From Vidhṛti came Hiraṇyanābha, who later became the disciple of Jaimini and propounded the system of mystic yoga, in which Yājñavalkya was initiated. Following in this dynasty were Puṣpa, Dhruvasandhi, Sudarshan, Agnivarna, Shigra, and Maru. Maru attained full perfection in the practice of yoga, and he still lives in the village of Kalapa. At the end of this age of Kali, he will revive the dynasty of the sun god. Next, in the dynasty were Prasushruta, Sandhi, Amarshana, Mahaswan,— Prasenajit, Takshaka, and Brihadvala, who was later killed by Abhimanyu. Śukadeva Gosvāmī said that these were all kings who had passed away. The future descendants of Bridhavala would be Brihadrana, Urukriya, Vatsavrida, Prativyoma, Banu, Divaka, Sahadev, Brihadashva, Bhanumam, Pratikashva, Supratika, Marudeva, Sunakshatra, Pushkara, Antariksha, Sutapa, Amitrajit, Brihadraja, Barhi, Kritanjaya, Rananjaya, Sanjaya, Sakya, Sudodha, Langala, Prasenajit, Shudraka, Ranaka, Surata, and Sumitra. All of them will become kings one after another. Sumitra, coming in this age of Kali, will be the last king of the Iksvaku dynasty. After him, the dynasty will be extinguished. So for those whose mind is playing games, thinking, why do we have to read all these names? Srila Prabhupada said in one lecture in 1973 in London, when he was describing or reading the description that it's given in the first chapter of the Bhagavad Gita about the different kings. And then he said, Mayavadis and Sahajas, they don't like to read all these historical details. They just want to go to the Sahajas, they just want to go to the 10th canto. And the Mayavadis, they think all this is material. And Prabhupada explains that all these names are because they are connected with Krishna. He says, Krishna Sambandhe. Then we have to hear attentively these names because they are purifying, because they are connected with Krishna's pastime. So let's continue. Śukadeva Gosvāmī said, the son of Rāmacandra was Kuśa, the son of Kuśa was Atithi, the son of Atithi was Niṣadha, and the son of Niṣadha was Nabha. The son of Nabha was Puṇḍarīka, and from Puṇḍarīka came a son named Kṣemadhanvā. The son of Kṣemadhanvā was Devānīka. Devānīka's son was Anīha. Anīha's son was Pāriyātra, and Pāriyātra's son was Balasthala. The son of Balasthala was Vajranābha, who was said to have been born from the effulgence of the sun god. The son of Vajranābha was Sagaṇa, and his son was Vidhṛti. The son of Vidhṛti was Hiraṇyanābha, who became a disciple of Jaimini and became a great ācārya of mystic yoga. It is from Hiraṇyanābha that the great saint Yājñavalkya learned the highly elevated system of yoga, of mystic yoga, known as ādhyātma-yoga, which can loosen the knots of material attachment in the heart. The son of Hiraṇyanābha was Puṣpa, and the son of Puṣpa was Dhruvasandhi. The son of Dhruvasandhi was Sudarshan, whose son was Agnivarna. The son of Agnivarna was named Shigra, and his son was Maru. Okay, so let's have a break. Let's read text 6, which is the one coming, and then we can read the other one. Otherwise, half of you are going to fall asleep. Okay, so the verse that we have, we're going to repeat this one. Please repeat. So aste yoga siddha. Kalapa gramam ashtita. Kaler ante suryavamsam. Nastamba bhajita punaha. So aste yoga siddha. Kalapa gramamastita. Kaliranta suryavamsam. Nastamba bhajita punaha. Prabhus. Vaishnavis. Sosaste yogasidaha Lapagranastita Kaleranta Surya Saha, he, also the personality known as Maru, Aste, still existing, Yoga-siddha, perfection in the power of mystic yoga, Kalapagramam, the place named Kalapagram, Ashtita, he is still living there. Kalehe, of this Kali Yuga. Ante, at the end. Suryavamsam, the descendants of the sun god. Nastam, after being lost. Babayita, Maru will begin by begetting a son. Punaha, again. Translation. Having achieved perfection in the power of mystic yoga, Maru still lives in a place known as Kalapagram. At the end of Kali Yuga, he will revive the lost Surya dynasty by begetting a son. Prepared by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. At least 5,000 years ago, Srila Śukadeva Gosvāmī ascertained the existence of Maru in Kalapagram and said that Maru, having achieved a yoga-siddha body, would continue to exist until the end of Kali Yuga, which is calculated to continue for 432,000 years. Such is the perfection of mystic power. By controlling the breath, the perfect yogi can continue his life for as long as he likes. Sometimes we hear from the Vedic literature that some personalities from the Vedic age, such as Vyasadeva and Ashvatham, are still living. Here we understand that Maru is also still living. We are sometimes surprised that a mortal body can live for such a long time. The explanation of this longevity is given here by the word yoga-siddha. If one becomes perfect in the practice of yoga, he can live as long as he likes. The demonstration of some trifling yoga-siddha does not constitute perfection. Here is a factual example of perfection. Here is a factual example of perfection. A yoga-siddha can live as long as he likes. Om Ajnanatimidandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Japataka Swaminiti Namine Namacharya Padaya Nitai Kripa Pradayane Gaura Katadamodaya Nagra. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvisesha Sunyavari Pasyatya Deshatarine Vanchakalpataruvyaschā Kripa Sindhu Vyayavacha Patitanam Pavanevyo Vaishnavavyo Namo Namo. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Śrīvasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Having achieved perfection in the power of mystic yoga, Maru still lives in a place known as Kalapa Gram. At the end of Kali Yuga, he will revive the lost Surya dynasty by begetting a son. So, the topic that we're going to discuss today, it's this perfection of yoga. Srila Prabhupada points that out. This is an example, or a factual example of perfection. That a yoga siddha, someone who has achieved this perfection, can live as long as he likes. I'm sure this wouldn't have much acceptance in nowadays yoga schools. If we come up with this a statement, which yoga school nowadays can offer you this, right? You can live as long as you like, right? That will be a very popular yoga school. Now, this perfection that Prabhupada is referring to, as you can see, this is a hard task. 16 verses, the whole chapter, and so many historical personalities here, so many names, and I was wondering what I'm going to talk about. So reading back and forth, trying to look, like Baladev Vidyabhushan, he says, when he wrote his Gita Bhushana about the Bhagavad Gita, he says, by the mercy of the Lord I have delved into this ocean of transcendental knowledge, and I have found some jewels. So, the idea is that when we read these books, Srila Prabhupada's books, we need to find these gems, these jewels, these pearls. So, trying to find something that I can discuss today, just a couple verses before, in text 4, the last line, it says, Hridaya Granthi Vedakam. Right? Hridaya Granthi. Then I thought, this is the gem. And coincidentally, this is something that Srila Prabhupada presented as the manifesto of his movement. When he was arriving in New York or Boston, America, he composed this poem. What is it? Markine Bhagavad Dharma, right? He composed two, right? There are two of those. And then in these poems that he wrote, he included 5 verses from the Bhagavatam. The same 5 verses he included in the purport of the first verse of 7th chapter, where Krishna tells Arjuna, you listen, takshrinu. Prabhupada was emphatic when he will give classes on that verse. Takshrinu. Now you listen. So, these 5 verses, first canto, 2nd chapter, text 17 to 21, he presents as I said, the manifesto. It's like when you buy a medicine and then you read in the label, this will cure this and that, will get rid of this, will relieve this and that. Right? So the Bhagavatam has that effect. And the effect is that it will cleanse our heart. not only cleanse our heart, but it will perform we may say, a surgical procedure in our heart. And we will have what's called an implantation. Right? Sometimes we have implants. So the implantation in the heart will be Bhakti. By the simple process of hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, we can have Bhakti implanted in our heart. And this is what Prabhupada brought for us. He brought just the first canto. That's all what he brought. He didn't even bring Bhagavad Gita, because Bhagavad Gita has been stolen, as you know. Who's that? Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, I think. When he was commenting on the Bhagavad Gita, he reached chapter 18, text 73. You know what that verse is, right? Anybody knows it by heart? Nasta moha smriti labdha. The last one of the conversations between Arjuna and Krishna, where Prabhupada says, Arjuna gives us the mantra of perfection. What is that mantra of perfection? Karishe vachanam tava. I will do what you want me to do. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur was commenting on the next 5 verses, because Bhagavad Gita chapter 18 has 78 verses. But it seems like a mouse. You know the story? A mouse came and stole those 2 pages. Right? Imagine that. So he writes at the end of his commentary, was that Sarartha Darshini? Is that anyway? He says, Lord Ganesh has sent his mouse assistant to take away those pages. So I will accept his wish. I will respect Lord Ganesh. May he bless us all, readers of Bhagavad Gita. So the great acharyas entered into this ocean of nectar, Ananda Bodhi Vardhanam. And then they extract these verses and they present it to us. Sometimes emphasizing one set of verses, sometimes one word. At different times they ask Srila Prabhupada, what is the most important verse? Atapum birdu yashresta. He said different things at different times. Different people ask, sometimes these professors will come and ask him different things. But Srila Prabhupada presented these 5 verses. So if some of you are interested, you can read these verses, very famous verses. I will read them for you today. Because the narration of Bhagavatam has a purpose. And as I said, the purpose is to execute an open heart operation, surgical procedure. And this is the process, and this is what happens, and this is why we are here. Right? We may not realize. Sometimes we don't realize. I don't realize. Why is that I'm here? Oh, I like Mayapur. It's nice. Everything's so exotic. Look at those windows, so interesting. I used to study architecture in my previous life. The elephants are walking around. The Ganges is here. I love the water. I'm a beach bum. But the reality is that we heard Bhagavatam. We heard Krishna Katha from someone. Right? Willingly or unwillingly. I don't know what's your particular story. But you know how it is. Those Sankirtan heroes in the room. You know, you have to push. Yeah? You have to push. Like that. So I remember the first time I saw a Sankirtan devotee. I was 14 years old. I was riding a bus in South America, Ecuador. And I was wondering, you know, through the window, what's going to be of my life? I want to be a big house by the beach. I want to serve the whole day. I want to have my girlfriend or girlfriends, my dog, and my friends forever. That's what I was thinking. How can I get that? How can I get that? And then I saw a monk. I thought this guy looks like one of those Shaolin fellows, you know. You know the Kung Fu? Some of you are too young for that. The Kung Fu series. And I saw him coming up. He had suspiciously a hat hiding his shaven head and some hair tuft sticking out on the side. And he had these strange beads, and he had this Brahmin thread. So he looked very mystic. He looked like an undercover agent. Honestly, I was watching, and I saw him, and I could see he's on a mission here. This fellow is up to something. Somehow it caught my attention. He came up the bus and pulled out 4 small books. John Lennon and the Mantra, Perfection of Yoga, Intrigue in the Palace. These are in Spanish, something like that. And then he starts saying, I am a student of my spiritual master. I'm a student of yoga. And as a disciple, I'm doing my duty of bringing this wonderful, transcendental, what's transcendental? I never heard that word. Books that can change your life, clean your heart. I don't know what he said, you know, but I was just, and I was at the back of the bus, you know, when you're cool, you generally sit at the back. That's generally the back of the classroom, the back of the bus. So I was sitting there close to the end of the bus, and immediately that desire came to my mind, to my heart, and I thought, I want those books. And he said something that for me, I would say it started the change of my life. He said, that young boy at the back, I'm bringing your books. And I thought, wow, this guy, he reads my mind. This guy truly is a Shaolin. He's one of those monks. How can he? I thought, oh my God, it's unbelievable. How can he know? It's true, what I heard about this yoga and mystic people. Anyway, then he started giving the books to everybody. That was the technique. You just drop books in everyone's lap. And then he came, he gave me the book, or the collection, 4 books. And then I pull out my wallet. You know, at that time, your wallet, it's, you know, it may be empty, but it's your wallet. Cool wallet with your photograph, maybe your girlfriend, or something, sticker. Huh? So I pull out my wallet, and there was not enough. Right? The whole thing costed 100 sucres. Sucres was the currency. And I only had 20, 1/5. Then I thought maybe I can bargain with the monk, and I can get at least 1 book. That was my intention. And I was nervous because he was walking back and forth. He was working people out. And then he saw my face, and I don't know what face would I have had. That he put his hand on my shoulder, and he says, don't worry, you're having the collection. And I thought, oh, again, he knows. I don't have enough money. So I pull out my 20, and I was about to say, can I just have 1? You know, like a little, we are Latins, right? So we're always bargaining, you know. We're cheap. And he said, no, you can have them all. And then I thought, wow, this is such a special mercy. I went back home, and I was so excited to have my books, right? And I remembered I was trying to read Prabhupada's name. I couldn't even read Prabhupada's name. Prabhupada, what is this? And I remember that I opened it, and I read 2 examples that Prabhupada gives about not being the body. He said, just like when someone is sitting on a chair, And at some point, it comes the time to change. So you only change from one sitting place to another sitting place. Okay. And then he gave another example. He says, just like when you are a tenant, you are renting a room, and then your lease is up, and then you have to move, and then you just change. In the same way, he explains, and he's quoting different things. I thought, wow, this is deep. This is something that I never heard. And then I closed the books, and I didn't open them for many years. Right? Until my best friend became a devotee, and that was the end of it. Because he got me into the ashram. But the thing is that now, looking back, what happened is that these devotees, starting with Srila Prabhupada and his representatives, they inject this medicine. And what is that medicine? Krishna Katha. It's so powerful that just by hearing this presentation, our heart changes. It takes a long time. But like Prabhupada says, the drop wears away the stone. Right? If you go to the beach, coastal area, and you go and see the rocks by the beach, you see that many of them have dents. And then you look up, and most probably there's a bit of a drop that is always hitting on that particular rock. But you touch these rocks, and they're, so hard. They will never change. You have to bring a big drill or a hammer to change it. But if it's constantly dripping, it changes. Right? Not only changes, but it produces pleasure. What's that verse? Atang prasangam mama vidya sambido. The last line of that verse explains that when you discuss the glories of Krishna in the association of devotees, three things happen. Right? One of them is that you develop faith, Shraddha. I forgot the Sanskrit. Shraddha, Rati, Bhakti. These three things happen. Shraddha is developed. And then Rati, and then you become attached. So nice, the kirtans. I remember after I started attending the temple with my cool hair this long and my clothes, and I was again standing at the back looking at these crazy fellows jumping up and down, spinning with the drums. And I remember the moment when I desired to be in that kirtan. I remember. It was like against my belief. That's not cool. Not having long hair, especially in those days. Now it's like, a common thing. But in those days, as Kali Yuga is predicted in the 12th canto of Bhagavatam, you think that beauty is defined as how long your hair is. So those were the days. Right? But then I remember that I saw the devotees so happily chanting up and down, dancing up and down. And one devotee with the mirdanga spinning around. And I thought, I want to be there. I want to be there. Right? So, Shraddha, Rati, and then Bhakti. Well, still I'm waiting for that one to manifest. But the idea is that, as it was explained to us in previous lectures, that what is our qualification to be here? Practically no qualification, right? By the mercy of Prabhupada, by the push of some devotees, we were kind of forced. Even Prabhupada says in one conversation, he says, I was pushed, he said. Right? He didn't want to go to listen to Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati. But he said, my friend sort of pushed me. Come on, let's go. So he went, and when he saw Prabhupada, then everything changed. Yeah. So for whatever reasons, we cannot know exactly. We can go to the astrologer and we can ask, but that doesn't give an exact indication of what we did or what we didn't do in previous life. We did something, probably. But the result is that we were in touch or in contact with Krishna Katha, the medicine that Prabhupada brought. So this open heart operation, surgical procedure, has a very scientific process, very methodic. Transformation happens. First of all, we hear with humility, we hear with intent. I really want to hear this. Right? How do we want to hear? I forgot the source. But I understand that there are, Shastras explain there are 5 types of hearers of Bhagavatam. And we have to hear as if we would be very thirsty. You know when you're really, really thirsty? Right? And then you're looking, where can I get drinking water? Where can I get drinking water? Have you had that experience? Right? Yeah? And then somebody gives you some, or you're hungry. And then somebody invites you for lunch. Oh, we have a feast somewhere. You're so happy. So if our hearing is focused, then we can experience Bhagavatam. Right? Then we can experience Krishna. Prabhupada explains in the purport of Narada Muni. When Narada Muni, at one point he became an orphan in his previous birth, his previous life. And he started walking. And then he was, because he has been purified by the association of the Bhakti Vedantas, right? He developed a desire to see Krishna. And he was walking different hills and jungles and valleys, and then Krishna somehow manifested. So in the same way, the Bhagavatam needs to be heard with that intensity. Narada Muni had a realization of Krishna. He had the presence of Krishna. But Krishna told him, you're not going to see me ever again. Right? You know the story, right? You're not going to see me ever again. But in the next life, you will see me whenever you want. Right? That's a lesson of patience. So at some point in our life, we may have had this realization. This is Krishna. Krishna is right here. But sometimes, for whatever reasons, Krishna seems to disappear. I don't find Krishna anymore. I don't find that taste in chanting or in hearing Bhagavatam class. I'm not even going to Bhagavatam class anymore. No, I'm too old. I already did that. I did that. Been there, done that. I'm not going on Harinam or Sankirtan anymore. The taste goes away. Right? But then we have to realize, what are we here? That's what the question that I presented in the beginning. Why are we here? What is the purpose of us being here? We are here to have our heart operated. Open heart. And sometimes we don't want. I don't know your experience, but every time I have to go to the dentist, I'm thinking, no, not again. Right? Because it aches. It's uncomfortable, inconvenient. Right? It's troublesome. But you have to do it. It's needed. So the heart, it's very contaminated. You know, it's very polluted. Cheto dharapana marjanam. We have to clean it. And sometimes it's very painful. One time somebody asked Gaura Das Babaji Maharaj, what is the easiest or quickest way to advance? Something along those lines. And then he said, listen to the harsh words of a sadhu. Right? Somebody who really tells you. One time my spiritual master, he told Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, I'm a fool number one. And Prabhupada said, you are number one nothing. He always says that. You're number one nothing. In the last year of Srila Prabhupada in this planet, in 1977, he was in Rishikesh. Because someone has said, you know, you should go there and all that. You know, 77, it was towards the end of Prabhupada's pastimes. Soon after, he will get ill and then come to Vrindavan and like that. And so he had a group of devotees, Tamal Krishna Maharaj and others, Bhakti Charu Maharaj, etc. And they were cooking, and I think the chapatis were not done properly. And Prabhupada, in his usual way, he just stood up and he just went there and started showing. Actually, I think there's a photo, I don't know. But anyway, the pastime is there. So then he's showing how to do chapatis and put them in the fire and all that. And Tamal Krishna Maharaj, as usual, he was next to Prabhupada. Very, you know, sergeant-like, soldier-like, you know, yes sir, yes sir. And so Prabhupada says, and then you have to do it like that. You have to roll it thin, and then you have to put it here. You have to put a little, something like that, he was saying. And every time Prabhupada said something, Tamal Krishna Maharaj would say, I know. It seems like that was his habit. I know. He said several times. I know. And Prabhupada turned and he says, you always say, I know, but you know nothing. This is Tamal Krishna Maharaj. It was his right hand, main personal secretary, and Prabhupada was giving him the sauce till the very last day. And of course, he took it. So yeah, sometimes it is painful. Right? The story goes that Prabhupada will come to Mayapur, and then the senior leaders generally tell the story that the first day or two, Prabhupada was very soft, like a rose. You know those pastimes. He would go to his room in the Lotus building, and then they opened the windows and the doors, and he actually designed. I mean, he said use big verandas and have windows and doors in such a way that the breeze can flow and all that. So he'll ask devotees to open the windows, and then you imagine, and then he says, Vaikuntha breeze, right? And then for a day or so, everything that happened, Prabhupada would say his usual expression, this is Krishna consciousness, right? And all that. It was going on for a day or two. But the third day, then the gears change. Jai Pataka, Bhavananda, who left that dirt there? Why this is not done? Why is like this? And then he started getting heavy. So sometimes it is hard to look for that painful experience. But if we want to advance, sometimes we really have to look for some devotees who tell it as it is. Bhagavad Gita, as it is. How do you say in Bengali? Yato yato. Yatha yato. As it is. Right? I heard once one devotee was giving a seminar, and he was explaining that in the corporate world, this is many, many years back, there's one question. It's the golden question for those of you managers, expert business people. It says, this is the question. how am I doing? Right? Evaluation, assessment. Right? If you're thinking blindly, foolishly, oh, I'm doing great, my company is doing great, but you never do your accounts, you never do your assessments, your profits, your investment, etc., right? You'll go broke. So he was explaining this point. How am I doing? And he was discussing how we have to utilize this principle. How am I doing? That's the golden question. But there is a metal which is more expensive than gold. I'm not expert in these things, but I just heard. What is that? White gold? What's that? Platinum? Yeah? But the platinum question is, how can I improve? Right? How can I improve? Right? And this Prabhu was saying, I still remember, he said we should have at least one person in our life that we can go and ask. Prabhu, or the ladies may have a senior Mataji, how am I doing? Right? How look at my heart, look at my consciousness, look at my life. How am I doing? And how can I improve? That is the purpose. ācārya upāshanam. Krishna explains 20 elements of knowledge in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 13, 8 to 12, verses 8 to 12. And there are many things in the beginning. You have to be humble, you have to be prideless, you have to be simple, and all that. But at some point, Krishna says you have to look for a teacher, ācārya. You have to look for someone who can teach you by example. Not only talks nicely, not only knows a lot of verses or dress in a particular way, but he behaves in an exemplary way. Right? And you should learn from him. Bhakti. These are Krishna's words. I'm not making it up. Right? So this is the process. And after that, you have to maintain that. That's the 20 elements of knowledge. Prabhupada says in the purport, if you want to assess yourself, go and check these qualities, and you can do like a checklist. Right? Tick, 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 cross, cross, cross. Like that. So whichever is your area or our area of weakness, then we have to approach somebody. How am I doing? Right? So, going back to the point, Vidhṛti Hridaya Grantis. These Hridaya Grantis. Imagine a gamcha that you come and you tied, right? You get the gamcha and then you tie it. And you tie it very hard. You get your strongest friend and tell him to pull on one side and you pull on the other with all your strength, right? And then you create a knot. Yeah? Imagine, you can wet it also. I've done it. Right? So it gets really, really tight. Now, try to undo that. Right? Vidhṛti Hridaya Grantis. Sometimes we find some string or something that gets knotted. And then we try to undo that. And sometimes it doesn't work. You spend a long time. So what do? You cut it. Right? You cut it. So sometimes we try to figure out things in the material world or even in our spiritual world. And things get so complicated. So the Bhagavatam, text 21, explains. This is the verse that I wanted to refer. Vidhṛti Hridaya Grantis. The same word. Hridaya Grantis. Yoga is meant to cut this knot in the heart. Sometimes it says it's loosened, so you can undo it. But sometimes you just have to cut it. So, Bhagavatam explained, thus the knot in the heart is pierced, and all misgivings are cut to pieces. The chain of fruitive actions is terminated when one sees the self as master. So this is what Bhagavatam is intended to do. We're not here only to learn these historical names and facts or these philosophical concepts and entertain our mind, our senses, or even our intellect. We have to go deep. We have to go deep into our own practice and admit. That's why sometimes it says Cheto Dharpana. Dharpana means mirror. Right? The idea of a mirror is to help you to see how are you doing today. Right? What's that? Mirror, mirror. What? Tell me who's the... Yeah. Who's the? Fairest of them all. Still doing okay. But the idea is that we looked at ourselves. And the question is, what am I doing here? What am I doing here? Just waiting for the next festival, Mahaprasad, feast, block ourselves, right? The next melody that comes up in the next Kirtan Mela, right? The next trend, the next tattoo style, the next what? It's the same thing. We have to go back to the basics, as they say in America. Back to the basics. And this is the basics. This is what Prabhupada brought. He included these whole 5 verses in his poem when he arrived. He says, this is the thing. This is what I'm bringing. This is the medicine. Vidhṛti hridaya granthis. I'm going to cut the knot of the heart by Krishna Katha. This is the power of Krishna's name. We sing every morning, right? Siradhika madhava yora paru madhurya lila guna rupa namnam. Lila guna rupa namnam. The name, the form, the qualities, and the pastimes. That's what we are here for. To drink that. And of course, I'm not in that level. I'm just talking theoretically because I prepare for 1 week. Right? But the idea is that Krishna is in our heart. And interestingly, it is explained by Prabhupada that although Krishna is in the heart, and he is the benefactor of whom? Of everyone? Yes? The truthful devotee. Thank you. If we dig a little bit in Prabhupada's purports, Prabhupada says, Paramatma only benefits the devotees. You surprised? I was surprised when I found out. Why? Because you know the story, or you know the analogy. You have the tree, and then you have 2 birds, and you have the individual bird, that's us. Whatever attack name is there, Latin, Chinese, American, Russian, European, whatever we think we are, right? And then when that bird turns towards the supreme bird, then everything happens. And at that moment, according to Bhaktivinoda Thakur in the Jaiva Dharma, because of whatever you have done, agyata sukriti, something, that attracts the mercy of a Vaishnava. Not the Lord necessarily, but the Vaishnava. Okay? And Prabhupada says, another controversial statement, the devotee is more merciful than Krishna. Yes? The devotee is more merciful than the Lord. When I read that, I thought, no. Okay, here it is. This is, I got Prabhupada. This cannot be. This cannot. I had a list. The devotee is more merciful than the Lord. Right? How do we understand that? Prabhupada didn't have to do all what he did. He sacrificed his health, his sadhana. I mean, he gave up sleeping altogether practically. Slept 2 hours, maximum 4 hours. Right? For whom? For whom he did this? For you and I. Right? He risked his life many times, 2 heart attacks, 1 stroke, for us, so we can read these books. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, a mouse stole my 2 pages of the last 5 verses. I don't want to write it. Prabhupada his manuscript, entire manuscript was stolen, and he wrote it all again. Huh? Yes or no? He wrote it all again. He could have said, okay, Vishwanath Chakravarti said the mouse stole 2 pages. Okay, that's it, I accept that. So in the line of the cyclic succession, we see that the acharyas become more and more merciful. The last question, why? Why are they like that? Okay? Generally we ask for questions and everyone's looking around, yes, no. So this is my question. Why the devotees become more and more merciful?
Because they understand the heart of the Lord.
Because they understand the heart of the Lord? Yes? Good. Anyone else? There's no $1 million answer. I know every answer is correct. I just want to churn a little bit the milk here. Satam prasangam. Why the devotees are more and more merciful? Like to follow the Guru, yes. Anyone else? Ladies? Have to be politically correct? Yes, thank you. If I would have Mahaprasad sweets, I will give you the whole thing. Virtually. Because the situation is getting worse. We're having great time here, believe me. Right? War, prisons, drugs, gangs, the most horrible crimes. I don't even want to invite you to do a little research about most horrible crimes. Parents killing, raping their children, like horrible. Right? And it's happening. It's practically a common occurrence. Right? And I don't want to say it only happens in America, because it happens everywhere. Because the situation is getting worse. The fire is increasing. But some of us, we're thinking, we're having a nice time here. Right? So, but the idea is that we need to follow, yes, in the footsteps of our spiritual master and our guide, Srila Prabhupada, and try to help others. And whatever we do, whether we chant, whether we fast, whether we read, whether we do whatever we do, go on parikrams, we do it with the thought, how can I help others? Because that's the heart of Krishna. That's why he came as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This is Krishna consciousness. Not only the breeze or the smell of Mahaprasadam or incense or the beautiful sight when the court curtains are open. But like Prabhupada said, if you want to hear Krishna's mind, read Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, and help others to take this process by being exemplary, by taking it ourselves. Easier said than done. We have to stop here. Question, comments?
Thank you, Iksvaku. So you were asking the shortest question, The shortest chapter is the 12th canto, the 5th chapter. It's 13 verses.
Okay, thank you.
Final instructions of Śukadeva Maharaj, just before Śukadeva departs and then Maharaj departs.
looking forward to read that one.
Thank you for sharing your heart and your realizations and your concern for all living entities.
Srila Prabhupada ki, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Nitai Gaura Pramanandi, Hari Hari.